Jerusalem, a city where empires rise and fall, where prophets preach, temples burn, and walls are rebuilt, all while three of the world's greatest religions lie at its heart. Jerusalem sits on a high plateau in the Judean mountains, anchored between the Mediterranean Sea and the Dead Sea in the southern Levant. One of the world's oldest cities, it holds its profound meaning for the three major faiths exiles: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, each treating it as a place of sacred memory and devotion. Jerusalem has been destroyed at least twice, besieged 23 times, captured and recaptured 44 times, and attacked on 52 separate occasions. These figures are the marks of a city repeatedly contested, rebuilt, and reimagined by generations. But behind these staggering numbers lies a bigger question. How did a settlement that began near a freshwater spring rise to become one of the most sacred, politically sensitive, and globally influential cities ever known? To understand that, we must trace Jerusalem back to its earliest origins and follow the path that transformed it from a small hilltop community into a spiritual cornerstone for civilizations. This is the story of Jerusalem. Long before kings or biblical legends, people settled around the Gihon Spring, a powerful freshwater source that made life on the rocky Judean plateau possible. This spring, located in the Kidron Valley, was more than a simple well. It was the lifeblood of early Jerusalem, supplying both drinking water and irrigation and sustaining the first communities. Archaeological evidence suggests that by around 3000 BCE, during the early Bronze Age, there was a permanent settlement near this spring. Over time, this small community grew under Canaanite influence. By the Middle Bronze Age, the city was fortified. Defensive walls were built high above the Gihon Spring, securing not just land, but access to water. The spring itself was engineered in clever ways. In the Middle Bronze Age, a covered channel transported water from Gihon to an upper pool. As centuries passed, this system evolved. By the Iron Age, a tunnel, also known as Siloam Tunnel, Hezekiah's Tunnel, carried water more securely into the city. These sophisticated structures show how vital the spring was for survival and for ensuring control over Jerusalem's lifeblood. By around 1000 BCE, according to biblical sources, King David captured Jerusalem from the Jebusites and made it the capital of a united Israel. The strategic importance of the Gihon Spring must have played a role in David's choice. Controlling water meant controlling the city. During David's reign, the city became the symbolic and political heart of his kingdom. David's successor, Solomon, carried out a massive building campaign. He built the first temple atop Mount Moriah, on a site traditionally linked to Jebusite sacred ground. The temple, completed around 957 BCE by many historical estimates, became the religious center for the Israelites. In 589 to 587 BCE, the Neo-Babylonian ruler Nebuchadnezzar II laid siege to Jerusalem. After a long blockade, the city fell. The Babylonians destroyed the first temple, and many of Jerusalem's elite were exiled to Babylon. But Jerusalem's story didn't end in ruin. With the fall of Babylon, a new chapter began, one that would see Persian, Hellenistic, Roman, and Byzantine powers shape the city in new ways. When the Babylonian exile ended, a new order emerged, the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great. In a remarkable turn, Cyrus allowed Jewish exiles to return to Jerusalem, sparking a spiritual and physical revival. Jews under leaders like Zerubbabel and Ezra rebuilt the Second Temple, restoring Jerusalem as a religious and communal center. As Persian influence held sway, the city regained local governance, but it was soon swept into a larger tide of change. The conquest of Alexander the Great around 332 BCE brought Hellenistic culture to Jerusalem. Greek language, administration, and architectural ideas changed the life of the city. This cultural pressure and religious friction culminated in the Hasmonean Revolt, when a priestly family, the Maccabees, led a rebellion against the Seleucid imposition. The Hasmonean dynasty managed to reassert Jewish autonomy for a time, expanding Jerusalem's boundaries and reinforcing its religious identity. But power in Jerusalem shifted again when the Romans entered the scene. In 63 BCE, Pompey the Great took control of the city, folding it into the Roman sphere. Under Roman rule, especially in the era of Herod the Great, the Second Temple was renovated and massively expanded, and new fortifications and grand civic buildings were erected. The First Jewish-Roman War broke out, and in 70 CE, Roman forces famously besieged Jerusalem and destroyed the Second Temple, which was a traumatic blow for the Jewish people. In the following decades, the Romans rebuilt Jerusalem as a colonial city, naming it Aelia Capitolina. As Rome gave way to Byzantine control in the 4th century, Jerusalem changed yet again, this time into a Christian hub. Under Emperor Constantine and his successors, the city became a pilgrimage center, dotted with churches, monasteries, and holy sites. Despite periodic turmoil like Sasanian Persian invasions in the early 7th century, Byzantine Christians regained Jerusalem before it passed into the hands of the rising Rashidun Caliphate. Thus, by the end of this era, Jerusalem was made into a Hellenistic city, then to a Roman colony, and finally to a Byzantine Christian center. A significant change occurred with the establishment of Islamic governance under the Rashidun Caliphate in 638 CE. Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab is reported to have entered modestly after the city fell peacefully, emphasizing religious harmony rather than conquest. Jerusalem's skyline changed during the Umayyad and Abbasid eras, with the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque rising on the Temple Mount to become important sites of Muslim devotion. Yet Jerusalem did not remain exclusively under Muslim rule. In 1099, Crusader armies seized the city during the First Crusade, establishing it as the heart of the Latin Kingdom of Jerusalem. For nearly a century, Crusader kings ruled from Jerusalem, converting Islamic holy sites for Christian use and erecting new fortifications. The turn came in 1187, when Saladin, the Ayyubid Sultan, reconquered Jerusalem. His leadership restored Muslim rule and reopened the holy sites to both Muslim and Christian pilgrims. The following centuries saw the rise of the Mamluk Sultanate, whose rulers invested deeply in the city, building madrasas, mosques, ornate tombs, and restoring key religious structures. Under Mamluk patronage, Jerusalem regained stability and became a center of Islamic learning and culture once more. Throughout this era, Jerusalem was a place of both conflict and renewal, a city fought over by crusaders and sultans, but also one rebuilt in stone and faith by its Muslim rulers. In 1517, Jerusalem entered a new chapter under Ottoman rule, when Sultan Selim I conquered the region. Many of the old city's walls were reconstructed by Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent between 1538 to 1541. As the Ottoman Empire gradually weakened, European powers began eyeing Jerusalem with renewed interest, leading to the return of multiple foreign missions, churches, and diplomatic bases across the city. By the mid-19th century, life within the walled old city had become crowded and unsustainable, forcing new neighborhoods and landmark structures, such as the Russian compound, to rise beyond its ancient limits. When World War I brought Ottoman rule to an end, British forces took control, creating new political promises that conflicted with both Jewish and Arab aspirations. After the end of Ottoman rule, Jerusalem came under British control as part of the Mandate for Palestine. The city's growing Jewish and Arab populations created rising tensions, leading to riots and clashes throughout the 1920s and 1930s. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan to create separate Jewish and Arab states, placing Jerusalem under international administration. The plan failed, and in 1948, war broke out after Israel declared independence. Jerusalem was divided. The western part became part of Israel, while the eastern half, including the Old City, was controlled by Jordan. This division deepened political and religious tension, and even after Israel captured East Jerusalem in 1967, the city remained a flashpoint of conflict. Today, Jerusalem continues to be a symbol of faith, heritage, and political struggle, where centuries of history meet the challenges of the modern world. For thousands of years, Jerusalem has seen conquest, exile, and reconstructed. Empires and kings came and went. Temples were constructed and demolished. People came in waves, either seeking faith or escaping persecution. Despite the city's several ownership changes, it continued to be at the center of conflict and devotion. Jerusalem continues to serve as both a living reminder of its turbulent past and a representation of eternal hope. Its tale is far from finished, and it continues to influence the world in ways that few cities can. And this was the history of Jerusalem. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's unravel your favorite historical places and ancient stories. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.